Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to Jagadguru Bodha Sadguru Gadha. We have discussed yesterday that we are going to see a series in which we are going to examine one of the works of the great Jagadguru Sri Adi Sankara and take a cue from there and see a parallel in the life of Sadguru Tyagaraja. So, we are taking up Mohamudgaram or the Bhajagovinda Slokam, the famous Bhajagovinda Slokams, and then we are going to not see all of them. It is said that the first 12 slokas of the Bhajagovinda Slokams have been authored by Sri Adi Sankara himself, and the rest of them have been authored by his disciples. Whatever it is, we are going to see 4 to 5 slokams out of what Sri Adi Sankara himself has authored. So I would like to take the first one. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte, Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukkran Karne. So the story they say is about when the time when actually Adi Sankaracharya Swami was in Kashi, and then he happens to come across a Pandit who was memorizing Panini Vyakaranam. And then when asked what is he doing, he said, I'm just preparing for my life by doing Panini Vyakaranam. Perhaps if he does that well, he would get a chance in the king's court and then he can become rich, etc. And Sankaracharya is amused, and then an outburst comes from him wherein he says, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Samprapte Sannihite Kale. When actually the time comes, all this grammar and this academics are not going to help you, save you. Oh foolish one, Mudhamate, is what actually he says. Now, Tyagaraja Swami lived this kind of life. We all know that he was a musical genius. Not just of his times, about 200 years back, but to think of all the times, he was a musical genius. The number of original kritis that he has, the ragams that he has created, the kind of simplicity with which he could create those kritis in the ragams, which stand the test of time. And then as every year is growing, its popularity across the world is growing. So this is a musical genius. However, we see in all his compositions and his lyrics that nowhere he is really interested in showing off his genius. He is actually lost in the bhakti of Rama. He was a true Maharshi of a particular order, where the poetry happened through him, but it was not that he was trying to write poetry. So let us just take one kriti, where he says, Etulaina bhakti vatsutake yatnam seyave. He is addressing the mind. In some way or the other, try to get devotion, is what is the Pallavi saying. And in the Charanam, it says, Vidya Garvamulela, Niva Vidya Vasamukadela, Vidya Garvamulela. Why have the ego or arrogance of being educated and erudite? Vidya Garvamulela, Nivu Avidya Vasamukadela. And that way, why are you actually submitting to the ignorance of the world? Now, avidya is ignorance. And such a beautiful, simple usage of words, Tyagaraja Swami is saying that by getting more vidya, but thinking that you are educated, you are actually getting avidya. Okay? And this is like saying in today's context that I am getting uneducated by being more educated. Something like that. Very funny. Kadyotanvaya tilakuni puramelu buddhi asugatochadela manasa. Buddhi asugatoche. In your intellect, why don't you spontaneously feel this? Feel what? If you ask, he's saying that Kadyotanvaya tilaka. Kadyotanvaya is the solar dynasty. And the Tilakuni, of course, refers to Rama. So he's saying the Lord's the Puramelu. So he's saying that Kadyotanvaya, when he's mentioning about the solar dynasty in this Charanam, we should understand that since sun always indicates Jnanam, and he's talking about Vidya, he's obviously referring to that Jnanam within us, which is the spiritual heart. And therefore, the Ayodhya, which he refers to here, Kadyotanvaya Tilakuni Puramu, which means Ayodhya, supposed to be Rama's kingdom, but he is referring to the spiritual heart, Ayodhya here. And he says, why don't you try to get the intellect or the sharpness of really focusing on your spiritual heart and thus get enlightened? This is the true Vidya, is what he's saying. In fact, we have another great interesting line from Annamacharya's Kriti, Tanakeda Sadguru, Tanakeda Shastralu, Manasu Chenchela Buddhi Manena. Says, what is the use of getting so many Shastras and so many subjects? What is the use of learning if the mind has not learned how to be steady? Okay. So this is the same message being given by all great people, and then we not only find the message echoing in Tyagaraja's Kritis, the message of Sankaracharya, that Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, but we see also that being practiced in Sri Tyagaraja's life. Okay. So this is the first insight that we are taking, the first gem that we are taking in this series called Jagadguru Bodha and Sadguru Gatha. So hopefully with His grace we are going to come back with another one tomorrow to offer it His lotus feast. Till then, I shall take your leave.